Welcome everyone to our this lecture on the questions on projectile motion. So this lecture is in the continuation of our series on kinematics, and let's begin. Last time we discussed projectile motion and some questions related to it. That how different types of questions come in it. So this time we are going to proceed further and do more questions. First question which we have. The first question which we have is the position of particle projected from origin at t equal to 2 seconds is r vector as r vector 20i plus 20j. Take g equal to 10. The position of the particle is given as 2 seconds. Find the initial velocity of the particle. So some options are given A, B, C, D, and we are asked to find what is the initial velocity of the body if its position is given as given at 2 seconds. So here vector sign is given to represent the position of the body. So does this change the question for us? The answer is no. We know that we already know the equations of motion of the body in x direction and y direction, and what we can learn is that both the equations remain independent of each other, and both the equations can be used to form a vector equation of the position of the body. So we can deal with them separately also. So the equation which we know for projectile motion is x is equal to v cos theta into t, that is the horizontal velocity into time, and the y coordinate of the body is some v sin theta into t minus half gt square, and the horizontal position of the body at t equal to 2 seconds is 20. So t is equal to 2 seconds and the x coordinate is 20 meters. So using the equation x is equal to v cos theta t, where t is 2 seconds. So v cos theta is time. Next, the y coordinate of the body, is 20. 20 is equal to v sin theta. Time of flight 2, time 2, action and gravity is 10, that would be 5 into 4 t square. So this comes out to be v sin theta is equal to some 20. So we know that the initial velocity of a projectile is equal to v cos theta plus v sin theta. V cos theta is 10i, v sin theta is 20j. So this is the complete velocity of the body. So first option. Next, a particle is moving at a speed of 10 meter per second, is fired at 30 degree. Find the equation of trajectory. So we are given that the particle is fired at the speed of 10 at an angle 30 degree. Action gravity is 10 meter per second square. We have to find the x coordinate, or we have to simply write actually the equation of trajectory. The equation of trajectory is y is equal to x tan theta into 1 minus x by r. Now y is equal to x tan 30 degree is 1 upon root 3 into 1 minus x by the range of the motion of the body. The range of the motion of the body is v square sine 2 theta upon g. So r is equal to 100 sine 60 degree divided by 10. So this is 5 root 3 meters. And this is the range of the motion of the body. X by root 3 into 1 minus x upon 5 by root 3 meters. This is the equation of trajectory. So the key to doing this question is to remember the equation of trajectory of the motion of the body. That is y is equal to x tan theta into 1 minus x by r, and then calculating the range of the body. A pretty much straightforward question. Let's move ahead. So this is a big one. A cannon is to strike a target 700 meter. This distance is 700 meter away from it at the same horizontal level as the cannon itself. So cannon is to strike a target which is at some distance and same horizontal level. The cannon is fired at a speed of 630 meters per second, aiming at a point y meter above the target. You have to find y. G is 9.8 meter per second square, and the hint is given that theta is very small. So this is a good one. So there is a cannon, and the cannon is supposed to fire a shot at a target which is 700 meter away from it. So this distance, the range of the cannon, this is your target. The range of the cannon is given as 700 meter. What else is given? The projectile is fired with a speed of 630 meters per second. That is given. G is given as 9.8 meter per second square. So this is what happens when the question comes in examination. Sometimes the value of G is not given. So it is up to you to assume the value of G, which gives you a very good answer. As you can see in this particular question, that some options are given A, B, C, D. So as per the options, you have to take the G, which can be a very difficult task. So let's see. It is fired at an angle of theta, the projectile. So that means that the cannon is aiming somewhere here in the line of initial explosion of the cannon. In the line of explosion of the cannon is fired in this direction. So at what distance above the cannon should the cannon be aimed at? So we have to find this distance. At what distance of the target we have to aim the cannon at? So we have to find x. So how do we oppose this? So let's say x by r is some tan theta. At least we can guess this much from this figure. So this is one equation. Next we know the equation of range of the cannon. The range of the cannon is v square sine 2 theta upon g. Now it is also given as consider theta as small. So why should we consider theta small besides this hint being given to us? Suppose that the hint is not available to you. So when a body is fired at a speed of 630 meters per second, then that's an incredible speed. And in most of the cases, we try to fire such high velocities at some small angles and not some large angle. In some, especially when you look in real life cases, when we are firing a tank, let's say, or a howitzer, let's say. So in all the cases, you would see that the angle of projection is not very big, and that means it can be approximated. And using the calculations also, you would find that it is pretty okay to assume that. Like we can say one factor which can consider in saying that is that, let's say this particular distance is r, right? So the range of the projectile is some 700 meters. So since the range of the projectile is 700 meters, can we take some possible values of x? R we know. What are the possible values of x? The possible values of x are 4.2, 6.19 and 12 at max. So if we are to calculate the value of tan theta, which is, let's say, some value 12 upon 700. So 12 upon 700 would be a very small number, and that means it won't be it won't be some angle like 30 degree or 45 degree. It would be a small angle. So that's why it's also very good to assume that angle theta has to be small. So since theta is small, we can say that sine to theta is nearly 2 theta, and tan theta is also nearly theta. So tan theta is nothing but x by r, and 2 times x by r. This is tan theta. Tan theta was x by r, and 2 times theta is sine to theta. So we can substitute 2 into x by r in place of sine to theta. Range of the projectile is some 700. V is 613 square into 2 times x divided by range, which is again 700, divided by g. We will substitute g later. Okay. So now continuing this calculation, we have to find x. So 700 we already know. Just 700 squared into g, which is 9.8, divided by 630 squared. 630 squared into 2 is equal to x. So after our regular calculation, this value would come out to be some 6.1 meters. So here you can see that the question was all about assuming that theta is small. So for that hint was given, but even if hint is not given, it is pretty clear that tan theta would be very small, as we have deduced from the options, and that is the important point which we have to learn from this question. Yeah. Okay, so this question is done with us. So let us move ahead. So our next topic is a pretty decent idea. The idea is of particles projected from an elevation. So this always seems like a new kind of idea, and questions related to this also seems pretty new to us. But in from experience, we can say that these is one of the topics which has to be discussed to see that the equations which we are using and the ideas which we are using are not that different. So let's start with this. So what we do is that you have a elevation or some cliff, we can say some kind of cliff, and from this cliff we are going to project a ball with some speed v at an angle theta with the horizontal. And as you can see, this particle goes up goes up along the up in vertical direction. That is, it's going just like a projectile motion. It completes its projectile motion, but when it comes back to the horizontal, there is no ground. So as the body is going up and down, the motion is pretty normal as we would imagine. But after it crosses the horizontal, again it continues down some kind of path. Now as you can see, the motion in, as you can imagine, that the motion in nature is pretty continuous. That means the path of the body is not going to change if the particle is projected from this point and it goes on further, since there is no ground over here. The ground is somewhere below it, and this distance can be some distance, let's say some distance, this distance some h. So the motion goes on, but the path of the body will not change upon crossing the horizontal. In fact, the path of the body should remain as identical to the one which we calculated in projectile motion, and the motion which the path which we calculated in projectile motion is y is equal to x times theta, and that equation. So the equation will not change. As you can see, if we look at the equations in this particular figure, so the equations so what are the equations after judging what are the initial conditions? So the equations which we are looking forward to is v is equal to u plus at. So v is equal to u plus at, we already know that equation. So we will put x beneath all the variables of velocity and acceleration. That means all the velocity, all the variables which have direction, we will put a subscript x beneath them. So vx, velocity along x direction, ux, initial velocity. So we have put x so that this indicates the x direction. Then we put y in the equation, so this equation indicates the velocity along y direction. Now there is no acceleration along x direction, so only velocity along x direction remains, that is v cos theta. So that means that all the equations more or less remain same. That is, the velocity along horizontal and velocity along vertical, that is calculated in the same way as we calculate in the projectile. So that remains same only. The velocity along y direction also remains same, v sin theta minus gt. And one good thing which we will learn, or what more we are learning in this particular topic, is that even after the body crosses this particular point, right? Now the motion from this point to this point, this from motion motion of the body from O to A looks like a normal projectile motion. But even after the body continues its journey after A, then also they will follow this equation, that is these two equations. So that is what we have written here. Note that for a similar coordinate system where horizontal is x and vertical is y axis, the accelerations remain the same irrespective of the initial conditions, that is the position and velocity. And that's why the equations of x and y, they also pretty much remain the same, and the equation of and the equation of trajectory also is same. So let us do an example. The example is, you have a ball. The ball is at a height of 40 meters and it is projected with a speed of 10 root 2 meter per second at an angle of 45 degree above horizontal. Find A, the time after which the ball bounces on the ground. B, the y component of velocity just before the ball reaches the ground. So let us look at the figure. So this is our figure. So in this figure, this is the man who is throwing the ball. This is the ball. This is being thrown at 45 degree angles at speed 10 root 2. You have to find the time taken until it reaches the ground, this particular time, and the y component of velocity just before the ball reaches the ground. That means this component of velocity Vy. So in projectile motion, we have been writing the equations in x and y direction separately. So here also we will be doing that. So here we have written the equation of y in y direction, v sin theta t minus half gt square. So we know the velocity of the body, that is 10 root 2, sin theta, that is 1 by root 2 as theta is 45 degree, and time t, which we have to find, minus action to gravity g by 2, that is 5 into t square. So this is the equation which we have, and we know that the body is projected from a height of 40 meters. So how can we use the height of the projection? So height of the projection can be easily used by imagining that how much the ball is going to travel. How much the body is going to travel. The body is going to travel only a distance of 40 meters vertically, and we are only taking care about the vertical case. So the body is going to travel 40 meters in which direction, up or down? Third thing, that the body is only traveling in down direction, and down direction is negative. That's why the position of the ball is minus 40 meters as it strikes the ground. Vertically it would travel a distance of 40 meters, and it's negative. So after we will substitute minus 40 meters, and in this equation 10 root 2 into 1 by root 2, that is 10t minus 5t square. So this equation transforms into 5t square minus 10t minus 40 is equal to 0, and 5 can be cancelled. So this becomes t square minus 2t minus 8 is equal to 0, and this gives the value of t equal to 4 seconds and minus 2 seconds. So we'll take the positive answer, and this gives us the time. So this is the time taken by the body in reaching 40 meters or striking the ground. So one more thing which can come to our mind is that okay, why did we not take the horizontal case in this particular question? Why did not we consider the equations x-axis? I mean, when usually we do question, we normally write both y and x. So why is not x written? The answer is that the x equation is not required. The information which we are given is that how is going to travel vertically. It is going to travel 40 meters vertically. It is first going to go up, and then it's going to come back to the y equal to 0 mark, and then it's going to go below y equal to 0 mark. So we know what is the final displacement in y direction, we know the velocity in y direction, so that's why we took the equation for y direction, and the equation was x was not useful for us. The next part of the question is what is the y component of velocity just before the ball reaches the ground. And here also this fact comes into play. Now in the second part of the question we are again asked the same thing, that what is the final velocity in y direction, right? So you won't write v velocity in x direction, that we can calculate, but it's not relevant to us. So we write initial velocity in y direction plus acceleration in y direction, which is minus g into t. So initial velocity in y direction is plus 10 meters per second minus action of gravity g is 10, and the time taken to complete the motion is 4 seconds. So this comes out to be 10 minus 40, which is minus 30 meters per second in negative direction. So as you can see, not only we get a correct magnitude of the velocity, we also get the sign of the velocity, which shows that when the body is going to strike the ground, it is obviously going to travel in the negative direction. It would be traveling at that instant in the negative direction. So that is very relevant and useful. Okay. Okay, so in the next part of the lecture, here's one question which is for your homework. In the previous example, what angle does the ball make with the ground just before it strikes it? So you can rewind in the video and see what the question is, and you can try to find the angle which the ball is making as it strikes the ground. And in the next part of the lecture, in the next lecture, we'll be continuing and finishing the projectile by doing the topic of projectile on an inclined plane. So after this, we'll be continuing with the chapter of relative velocity. So thank you for joining.